Hey everybody, we are live at Wealth Management Edge 2025. I'm Johnny Sandquist.
I'm Torie Happe.
And we are excited to welcome Amar Ahluwalia, the CEO of OneVest.
Pleasure for being here, guys. Thanks for having me.
And thanks for taking some time out of your day. I've been by the booth. You guys look like you're slammed. Just a lot of people interested in what's going on. But today, we really want to dig into you, the man behind the CEO, right? Like, get into your personal story a bit. So, we'll start us off with just the backstory, right? Like, how'd you get to where you are? What was kind of like that inciting moment that brought you here?
Yeah, I've had a fun journey kind of along the way. So I've done a lot of different things overall in my career. First half, kind of cut my teeth in, I would say, broad spectrum financial services. Spent a bunch of years in investment banking, worked at a hedge fund, ran a consulting practice, ran a bank for a short period of time.
Wow.
And then second half kind of got into tech. So got recruited to a company that ended up turning into a unicorn. So was there for some time, ran a bunch of their businesses. Post that, joined another tech company based in New York that ended up becoming a unicorn as well. Was on their leadership team. I ran a bunch of their businesses, went public with them as well. So I think fintech for me has kind of always been in my DNA, in my blood. It's kind of what I love as a space perspective. And when COVID was upon, and let's just call it 2020 in general, I got itchy trigger fingers. Wanted to go build something new.
I can relate to that year. Yeah.
And like my co-founders and I, they got impeccable backgrounds. One of them comes from Shopify, helped scale that business. The other one came from Kudos, scaled that business as well. So like all we know is financial services and like deep tech. So we smashed our heads together, had a lot of creativity during COVID, and kind of ventured into the space that we're in as we just saw a need to kind of really innovate a legacy space overall. So that was kind of the impetus to get going.
I kind of feel tired just hearing all of that. I know, like, I started in the broker-dealer space and then quickly transitioned to the fintech space, and you just kind of hit every avenue possible. Tell us about what was it that specifically drove you to tech? For me, I know, like, working in the broker-dealer space, it was very apparent very early on that we were so far behind in the broker-dealer world. I've told this story many times. I walked in, they handed me a paper file for a client, and they're like, go fax this. And I was like, what the heck is a fax machine, and why are we still using it? And that was, 2007. So, like, there was not a lot of growth between 2007 and I would even say to, like, 2020. So I would love to hear kind of, like, what was the driving factor, like, really put your stamp in the tech world?
Yeah, like I just like building really cool stuff. And to me, like, I have a strong passion for financial services, and I truly believe that the future of finance is innovation. So like that's my driving force to effectively build really creative technology that simplifies delivery inside of financial services. And when we looked at wealth management and we saw kind of the legacy delivery across the board from experience to the orchestration of data and just making it really simple for an advisor to get their job done with like 3 clicks of a mouse versus having to go to like 5 different portals. That was kind of the lightning bulb overall. Yeah. And that drove us really to go and find creative tones and creative ways to drive like a lot of simplicity for advisor experience.
Excellent. You know, one of our favorite questions to ask kind of like forces people to be more honest than maybe they would like to be. But we feel like it reveals the person quite a bit. What's the worst money mistake you've made? But more importantly than that, what did it teach you and what did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, the worst money mistake that I made was when I was in university. I bought a very expensive car that I couldn't afford. And it taught me very quickly that I got to earn a higher income to be able to pay for that. I think what it also taught me was ingenuity, going and figuring out creative ways to go and make that excess income. For example, starting my own business when I was in university. So again, like, I think there's good learning experiences in everything that you do, and that kind of gave me a kick driver to go and test that entrepreneurship.
Two follow-up questions. First, what was the car?
So I always wanted to know. I know everyone's going to want to know what it was.
It was a CLK Roadster.
That sounds like a necessity. Okay, so second one then, what was that business that you started up in college to like help pay for that Roadster?
So a buddy of mine, we actually used to buy like totaled and stripped down BMW M3s. We would import them up to Canada. We would strip them down and actually sell the parts. So our margin on actually every vehicle is actually quite high.
Okay.
And that actually paid for the majority of my university tuition.
Roadster, clearly.
That's one we've not ever had before.
It's unique.
That's very unique.
It is very unique.
High margin business.
I bet. It's amazing.
Really good. Okay, so we're at Edge. Kind of the theme for this week is find your edge. So I'm just kind of curious, what do you feel like gives you your edge in life, in business? Like, where do you kind of like draw your energy from?
Yeah, look, I'm passionate about what I do, right? So I truly believe in like the vision of OneVest and kind of why we were created, and I think that is the driving force for us to build how we build, the way that we build, and really bringing that creativity and simplicity together. And again, my passion is financial services, so it's really what gives me the edge to go and beyond from an innovation perspective.
Yeah, and you could feel that when you guys talk about the business, when you see the people that are working with you. You guys just emulate exactly what you're saying, and there's not many companies that do that. And it's so refreshing to see that coming out of the space that we're in. Like, you are constantly wanting to innovate, and you constantly want to make sure that the advisor has the best tools possible, and I just love that.
I think we've been really fortunate about like putting the right team together, and I think that aura around the team is incredible in general. Super smart people that come from the industry, people that have built disruptive businesses in the past, people that just really understand advisor experience and wealth management is the way that we thought about it. And the mantra for us is like build a really innovative technology and build it to be long lasting and really drive that simplicity around experience.
Follow-up question on your team. So you mentioned your co-founders, one of them from Shopify. You got some other good experience in there. I'm sure that the way you build your team, probably an outgrowth of those relationships you have with your co-founders. But how'd you guys come together? How'd you meet and kind of land on this co-founding of this business?
Yeah, so one of my co-founders, him and I have known each other for years. We actually go way back, and we used to work together at a bank back in the day. Our other co-founder, we actually met during COVID.
Wow.
We got introduced by one of our investors, and the three of us actually hit it off. So we actually dated each other for 6 months before we actually started the company, just all virtual calls. And the entire business was actually built like in the earliest days of COVID. So like most of the teams that we had were all remotely hired.
Yeah.
It was an interesting time perspective to actually start a business and kind of get it scaling. And some of us actually didn't see each other for like a year after in person. So it's definitely an interesting journey.
I still can't believe we've lived through that. And
Yep.
all of us, I think all of us stand here. I didn't meet my team either for almost 18 months. And I think it's just a wild thing that we are building and creating and doing all this stuff, but we were doing it from the confines of our own home. And so like when we all got to meet, it was just a very great experience to like finally sit down and be like, oh.
Yeah, such a weird time, but such a great time. We started podcasting
Yeah.
because of COVID. Obviously, you've got this business that you really built during that time. So it kind of that forced distance also in many ways forced people to come closer together. And we're kind of seeing the fruits of that now. Well, hey, man, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time and excited to see what you're building.
Awesome, guys. Appreciate your time.
Thanks. Guys, I was terrified that the lizard was coming for us.
The what?
Do you see